Okay, so Michael will be speaking to us about bid ops and vendor negotiation AI. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's always great to be the last guy before dinner, right? And especially when you're an Italian guy from New Jersey, it usually takes me about an hour just to say goodbye at a wedding. So I'll try to get through this pretty quickly. So thank you very much for your time today. My name is Mike Oliveri. I'm the head of business development for BidOps. And I'm excited today to talk to you about our vendor negotiation AI solution. BidOps is a cloud-based platform that allows procurement professionals to manage vendors, collaborate with internal stakeholders, and run fully autonomous negotiations that drive savings. Okay, which way am I going here? Yeah. That's the advance, right? There we go. Oh, backwards. We currently have a global customer base with some brands that you probably recognize here, and I'm proud to say that to date, we have managed $100 million worth of transactions that have been both negotiated and processed using our technology. I'm also proud to say that we were recently recognized by Spend Matters as being one of the top 5 most innovative companies in the world in the procurement industry. We began our journey in 2017 by asking this fundamental question: why are vendor negotiations so hard? By show of hands, how many people here are familiar with the request for quote or request for proposal process? Show of hands. Okay. So you know all too well the pains of that process. Typically, there's too many vendors, too many requirements, and too many opportunities to understand which ones to prioritize that are not only going to drive the most savings, but the best total cost of ownership to the enterprise. We also asked ourselves this question: why do we ask vendors to guess what our desired offer is? Starting that way. Instead, what BidOps does is we leverage a concept called strategic anchoring, and it coaches the vendors to offer savings right out of the gate. So 40 years of research have shown that when a buyer goes first in the negotiation process, it results in a decisive value on the outcome and total savings. So how does anchoring work? It's a concept called irrational perception. Most people, when you look at the slide, it looks like the bottom line is longer than the top line. That's a perception. Anchoring works the same way with vendors. When the buyer puts the price out there first and communicates that to the vendor perceives that as, that must be my starting point in order to remain competitive throughout this bid. We create repeatable value through our AI solution by leveraging behavioral analytics. Companies like Expedia, Priceline, and Booking.com use behavioral analytics to motivate user behavior. Why not apply this idea to vendor negotiations? When BASF first began using our solution, they drove 590,000 euro in savings on a $3.6 million contract. In under 60 minutes. That's the key, under 60 minutes. So again, for those of you familiar with that process, you know that that's an amazing achievement. And that's an example of the time to value that we deliver to enterprises that scale. Our solution does what user-driven online bidding systems cannot do. Generates an intelligent target price right out of the gate. Analyzing vendor behavior throughout the negotiation process instantly and continuously. Learning about how that vendor engages with you and providing that insight to you. Enables a time-bound negotiation process and correlates vendor behavior with commercial intent. the key metrics that we deliver in our solution: total savings, a price decrease versus a historical baseline. In-app savings, a price decrease between the first best and the last best quote before the award. And then vendor intelligence. As the vendors are actually engaging with you throughout the bidding process, we are learning about them, learning about how they engage. So determining whether or not they're not only giving you the best price, but are they going to be a good vendor for you to work with long term? And that's called reinforcement learning. That's what we do. It improves with every negotiation. The knowledge that we gain about each vendor allows you to better engage with that vendor throughout the process. It's the backbone of companies like Netflix, Google, and Amazon. As a consumer, when a consumer engages with Amazon, they actually know how to market directly to that consumer based upon their purchasing behavior. What our solution allows you to do as well is leverage your most valuable asset, which is the collective knowledge of your best buyers. So in closing, our value proposition: negotiations that run themselves, giving vendors clear next steps and direction throughout the process, resulting in delighted teams that score big wins. And when I say delighted teams, I'm talking about the buyers as well as the vendors. Having been a vendor myself and going through that process, oftentimes I've asked the buyers, give me your target price, because that's going to save a lot of time in getting to the right decision for you. So all of that would not be possible without a great user interface. We've all seen technology that delivers great results, but when the user interface is daunting, it becomes not as useful and productive for the user. As you can see from feedback from existing clients at BASF, we've got some very good results, and they're impressed with what we've been able to deliver to them. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, I'm going to be here all day tomorrow. I'm easy to find. Just look for the bouncing white ball. And I'm grateful for your time. Thank you very much. Have a good dinner tonight. Oh. What data is being provided insight on vendor behavior? Okay, great question. So as a vendor is corresponding with you throughout the negotiation process, when you set your requirements in a particular bid, you're establishing your T's and C's and any customer requirements. Can a vendor deliver a specific type of merchandise? But throughout the bidding process, you're also setting, if you have a contract or a bid that has different phases through the bid, there could be 5 phases, you're going to set the time requirement for when the vendors need to respond to that phase. So if you set a requirement at 20 minutes and a vendor does respond within that time frame, great. But what about a vendor who responds within 5 minutes? Not only are they giving you the best price, but they're engaging, and they're engaging aggressively and quickly. We are actually grading the vendors throughout the process until the award is given. So we're attaining that knowledge for you in ongoing bids, so you'll know which vendors are most engaged and are going to deliver the most engagement to you and responsiveness to you. That's kind of where the AI comes in. We learn how they behave. When they actually contribute and they make an offer or they give you your pricing, we also retain that market information as well. So ongoing, you'll be able to understand which vendors are the best ones to deal with. Anything else? Thank you. Thanks again for your time.